Hi everybody, I'm Jerry the King Lawler, and everybody knows that I'm a Cleveland fan. But if you want to talk baseball, you got to listen to One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer with Vince and JJ.
JJ, you know what this is?
Well, it's Topps Baseball 1988. Is that the oldest one you've opened on the show, maybe?
No. Do you realize that last week we forgot to open baseball cards?
Well, I did. I had it sitting there. We were doing wrestling, so I didn't know if we were just going to skip it that week, so I just went with the flow.
I got so excited talking about Will Ospreay that I forgot about baseball
The
cards.
power of wrestling. Yeah, we lose our minds.
So I'm keeping this right here,
Okay,
right in front of
mine.
me. So
I got mine set here too.
All
All right. If not, I'll remind you.
I take full responsibility for that, by the way. So, no, I don't. It's your fault. What am I talking about?
50-50.
Oh, I just want to remind you to like us on Facebook. Those of you who watch the YouTube channel, remember to subscribe to our channel so that we can get you the information as soon as it drops. You can contact us through onecard1cup1beer@gmail.com. You can leave us a content one of our platforms through Facebook, through Patreon. You can leave us a message if you listen to us on one of the podcast platforms. Or if you're, Facebook friends or something, just let us know. If you want to talk to us, we're accessible. Now, I'm not going to answer you because I'm not like JJ. When people talk to me, I get scared. So, but
that's all right. I talk for two. I eat for two. I talk for two.
Oh, I eat for three. That's good. So. You can support us through Patreon. Just go to patreon.com and search for One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer, and you can support our efforts. And all of that is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to be a contestant, what's the word I'm looking for? Someone on a panel. A panelist. If you'd like to be a panelist, we do have our June panel will be coming up pretty soon. Let us know that you'd like to be on, and we'll just do a little round table and talk about how the season's going. Not just for our teams, but for Major League Baseball in general. So, JJ, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't know. Vince, I think if somebody says, "What's Vince like?" the first thing I say is very profound. Sometimes you say something and it sits with me for a while. And you were mentioning the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the 7 people that got in this year. And I was thinking about that. And first of all, I don't know if you heard, but Rick Derringer passed away today.
Yes, I've seen him in concert too.
You did?
Yes.
He was the McCoys, maybe, or solo?
No, this was in the late 90s when they used to do, Casey used to do free concerts there at Union Station. It was Edgar Winter and Rick Derringer opened for him.
Wow, that's a good duo.
Oh, it was great. And then at the end, Rick joined him because Rick was with his band White Trash for quite a few years in the early 70s. So Rick joined the band and they did like Frankenstein, Tobacco Road, all kinds of stuff. But I was so disappointed because he did Hang On Sloopy, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, but he sang a ballad in the late 70s called Don't Ever Say Goodbye, and I love it.
He did not. That's him. Don't Ever Say Goodbye. That's a great song.
Yes, it's a great ballad. That was, people always say, like REO Speedwagon ushered into power ballad with Keep On Loving You. The Don't Ever Say Goodbye, when he's doing the guitar at the end, I mean, that's a great power ballad.
I forgot about that song. I knew Hoochie Coo and Hang On Snoopy, but I didn't know he did that. I forgot all about that, man. How about that? That's a good call. Well, I was looking at this, and you told me the 7 people, and I was like, okay. But something about Chubby Checker just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Chubby Checker. I did little details, and no one has a statue outside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I read an article where Chubby Checker is wanting not only to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but he wants them to put a statue of him outside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was like, come on, Chubby Checker. I think they kind of threw you a cookie. just letting you get in the door. And so I said, no, I don't want to hate Chubby Checker. My father-in-law doesn't like him because one time they held a plane out in France for like 2 hours, and it was Chubby Checker and his buddies, and they came in there and acted like they owned the place. And so he was always anti-Chubby Checker after that. But Chubby Checker, look, he had 22 top 40 songs. I was like, okay, that's pretty impressive. Vince, he released the Twist 3 times. That should not count right there. 3 times the Twist, charted. He had Let's Twist Again, the Peppermint Twist. He had 5 songs about the Twist and a song called Karate Monkey, which I told Tom and Jay about that, and he listened to it and he goes, it's god awful. Karate Monkey evidently charted as well too. So maybe there wasn't many things going on there, but I will say this: there's a lot of bands that should be in there. Okay, now if they're letting Dolly Parton in, which I love Miss Dolly Parton, but she's not rock and roll. The Carpenters are not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Carpenters, I love the Carpenters. Beautiful voice. I mean, the Karen Carpenter is one of the most beautiful voices ever, and they had some really good songs. Jim Croce, not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Jim Croce definitely should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The Scorpions, for you hard rock fans. The Iron Maiden, Oasis, who I love, they're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Collective Soul, which is my favorite 90s band, is Collective Soul.
They're going to be a Riverport this summer with Live.
You're going to that, right?
Planning on going, yes.
Oh, man. I've seen them open for Sammy Hagar and the Circle. And they did like 12 songs. They did like 8 of their classics and 4 new ones. And the 4 new ones sounded really good. So they're still out there doing it. But Chubby Checker, I guess just by hanging around long enough, he's the joy. He is the Fred Bird of the rock and roll community. He got into the Hall of Fame. So anyway, that was my soapbox on that.
Not Elvis, not the Beatles, not Zeppelin. No, he thinks he's the one that deserves the statue.
Yeah, that's a crazy man right there. But, hey, we all have our dreams. I want a statue outside the Rock and Roll of Fame, but it ain't happening. So anyway, I've been watching that closely, see who introduces him, because most of his peers are gone now. Dick Clark was a huge advocate for Chubby Checker. He's gone now too, so I don't know who will put him in. I don't even know what I don't know what's going on with Chubby Checker. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. Rick Derringer and the Chubby Checker piece of that.
Well, maybe his brother will put him in.
Oh, and who is his brother, Vince?
Fat Chess.
Boom! Yeah, I knew it was coming. I know you well enough, Vince. I can see it coming. I don't know what you're going to say, but I can see it coming.
Oh, I blame my dad for all this. My dad, the dad jokes just have never stopped. My dad
is great.
Gosh, he is 80. He'll be 84 in August, and he's
happy birthday.
Still sends the dad jokes, and I still love them.
That is so cool.
Tom Cook, who was on this show, one of our very first guests we've had on this show, Tom Cook, he's the one who showed me you can actually do dad jokes on stage if you couch everything correctly. Because up to that point, I'm not doing that. But Tom would go up there and he would start with a few dad jokes that were so bad that they became funny, because he did it with all his passion and everything. And then he'd go into his set, which is pretty filthy, but he starts with these dad jokes. So that's why I started putting in like puns and little things, not too much, but enough, because I realized a groan is almost as good as a laugh. People will remember your bad jokes. So I tried to put in 4 or 5 dad jokes, and people remembered them.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you get them giggling. They can't stop giggling. Like, oh man, that was good. Heck yeah.
So speaking of comedy, Saturday, June 7th, and I know that this isn't going to be for people. There's a comic friend of mine. He's more of an acquaintance, but I've shared the stage with him a few times. He works out of Springfield, Illinois. His name is Hayden. He's got 3 names: Hayden Maxwell. and I can't remember his last name. Anyway, uh, he was hit by a car and he's having some very serious issues. And I'm going to, if anybody, I'm going to put the a link on the uh, screen when we edit this. That if anybody wants to help with his medical bills, GoFundMe. That would be great. On the 7th, they're doing a fundraising show in Mason City, and that's why I asked you, are you working on the 7th? If you'd like to go with me, I'm gonna take the long trip to Mason City. I'm not performing. I just want to support a
Yes.
fellow comic who's a really great guy, young guy in his 20s, but he's always been a joy to work with and great conversation to have. And it's just a very sad situation when you're working for something at such a young age and then you get hit by a car, and his rehabilitation is going to be brutal. So um, if you want to give, that is on the screen. That link, the GoFundMe link, you can give, and that would be greatly appreciated.
Very cool.
So now that we brought the show down,
We got to bring it up now.
Rick Derringer died too. Yeah. So
Yes, sure.
JJ, how's your week been?
Oh, it's been a pretty good week. Friday, friend of the show, Tony Pruno and Steven Sousa, met up with them. And Steven's got this new product coming out for Fanatics. Once it's out, I'd like to have him back on and so he can show everybody. But things are going good for him, and he's really taking the collecting area to the display and storage area of it to the next level. Very excited about that. I saw Brad Juliet Saturday, and he's got a bunch of new uh, people coming to Caledonia to a Boys Dream hobby shop, and it's very exciting. I believe I don't have the thing in front of me, but in June, I believe it's the 17th. No, the 21st. I'll look it up, but it's on a Saturday. He had John Mabry coming to town, and now Andy Bennis will be coming with him. Very excited about that. He's got a lot of things in the works. Some things I don't want to say yet because it's not official, but he's got two new people coming, and I just don't have it in front of me. But while I was there, one of the things I got, Vince, our buddy Jason Mott, I got his jersey, and it's signed. So I thought, you know what? Mott was nice enough to cut us a promo. It's got a signature. It's got the final out of the 2006 World Series. Pretty cool, huh?
Very
Yeah.
nice.
So I got that, and Gary Bennett was just down there, and you can, and the great thing about going to a Boys Dreams hobby shop, if you can't make it, you can take stuff and pay ahead of time, and the first hour the player signs all the stuff that people send in to get signed, and then they open the doors. There's always a time, and then he meets the people and signs everything. But Gary Bennett signed. I love, and Brad gets the best pictures. But that's the picture I got with him hugging Tony La Russa. He signed that right
Nice.
there. Played a lot of years with the Philly, and then I got a couple cards signed, and that's almost identical, different view of the same picture. Signed that one, and then this one here too. He signed that one. So got a couple of Gary Bennett things, and so that was pretty much it. Sunday family time and stuff like that. I hope everybody had a very nice family-filled Memorial Day weekend. It was nice to have a 3-day weekend finally.
Those are always nice. Yeah.
Oh, I hate you do cooking? Was you cooking anything?
Well, with the threat of rain,
Yeah.
I didn't want to start the grill or anything. So I make this thing called pizza loaf. I got
Sounds
the
good to me.
recipe from yeah, got the recipe from my ex-wife. You take an Italian loaf and you cut it in half, like lengthwise, and then you hollow out, make a cavity in there, and then I put mozzarella cheese. And what I do is I take a hamburger and add the taco seasoning to it, so it gives it a taco flavor. And then if you want, I put pepperoni on it. Some people
Oh,
put mushroom and stuff like that. Then you put another layer of cheese on it, put the top on, wrap it up in foil, and put it in the oven for about 15 minutes. And Rebecca is home for the week, and her boyfriend came in on Sunday, and then he left Monday afternoon. He's been on the show, Brewer fan, and
oh yeah.
actually, I actually we turned on the Brewer game. I did not watch the Cub game on Monday because Brendan was here, and he doesn't have the MLB app and doesn't get to watch many games. So let's watch the Brewers, and the Brewers won, so that was cool. But we had that, and I made pasta salad, and it was a good time. The night before, Evelyn and her boyfriend Tony came over, so we had Evelyn and Rebecca and both their boyfriends, and we always have a good time with them. And I've been very fortunate because uh, three of my daughters are in significant relationships. One's married, that's very significant. But I really have been impressed with their choice of partners. So that's
Fantastic. Man, it's all you can hope for. The kids to pick someone good and be happy. I mean, and
yeah.
then, that's what it's all about. Very good. That means you did a good job, Vince. You and your wife did a good job raising
I,
them
I don't know
kids.
if I did a good job, but I'll take it. But it's
Yeah.
really cool because uh, my son-in-law he's into films and I love movies, so we have that in common. Um, Evelyn's boyfriend Tony, he's into woodworking and he plays in an alternative band, which is my favorite genre. So we
Hey,
have that in common. And then Brendan's a baseball fan. I'm like, man, this is pretty cool.
this is great, man. Yeah. How about that?
Because I've seen some bad boyfriends. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, had a good time. And I do want to say, man, I said something really stupid last week. And yeah, you'll remember because I'm going to bring it up.
Okay.
We had the Rock and Roll Express do the promo last
Oh
week.
yeah.
By the way, Jerry the King Lawler did this week. But I made this statement that you made the statement about their Ricky Morton's appearance, and I said something like, "Yeah, he looks like a guy who would be the character in the Aqualung song." Then I thought, man, what if they watch this? But I'm thinking, oh, they probably didn't remember.
Yeah, they're very nice guys. And hey, you got to give them credit. They have their son now, three generation wrestler, Ricky Morton's son wrestles with, I believe, NWA, perhaps, is who
Hmm.
he's with. So, oh yeah, I've always grew up. I mean, they've always been a part of it. So I'm just tickled to death that and there'll be some more surprises coming up in the next few weeks. I will say that.
And I will. Ricky Morton was on an AEW show just I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, and he still takes bumps.
He's one of the best bump taker ever. He gets the crowd revved up. I remember one time in, I believe it was Memphis, Tennessee, he was just getting mauled by the Midnight Express, and all the young girls loved him. And he was trying to crawl over and get a tag, and he was going, "Help me!" And they were like, "Oh, Ricky!" It just popped the whole crowd. And I was like, "That guy's got the magic touch right there." You know?
Like in that old Vincent Price movie, The Fly. Help me, help
Yeah,
me.
but the young girls weren't screaming for the fly though.
Oh, well, let's talk about some baseball. Let's talk
Oh, good
about the
times.
man, the living legend O'Neill Cruz, who hit a home run that went 122.9 miles per hour against the Brewers last Thursday. Did you see that?
No, I did not. There's so many. It's been crazy here lately, and I try to catch the highlights because I either listen or watch the Cardinals, and then I don't. I have to go on YouTube and just watch the condensed ones to get the highlights. So no, I missed that. But he's a heck of a player.
It went out of the park. Is that the Allegheny back
Yeah,
the
I
river
believe so. Right there between
where it
Kentucky and
ended up?
yeah.
I've never seen a ball go out of a park so fast. It was just a laser shot. And this is what's amazing. Okay, since StatCast started in 2015, here are the hardest hit balls. Number one, O'Neill Cruz against the Brewers, May 25th, 2025, 122.9.
Mm.
Guess who hit the second hardest?
When did that start? I always think of that Glen Allen Hill hit, but that was before
Yeah, this
StatCast.
started
That,
2015.
so I would say Elevator Cruz.
Nope.
Would he?
The second hardest hit baseball in the StatCast era is O'Neill Cruz. He hit a single against the Braves August 24, 2022 at 122.4 miles an hour off a bat. Next up is Giancarlo Stanton, who on October 1st, 2017 hit a single that went 122.2 miles an hour. Number four, Giancarlo Stanton, August 9th, 2021, hit into a double play against the Royals, and that was 122.2, just like his single against the Braves was. And coming in fifth is Giancarlo Stanton, 121.7 miles per hour home run versus the Rangers, August 9th, 2018. So let me put this in perspective. O'Neill Cruz's home run was 1.2 mile an hour faster than the next fastest home run in the StatCast era. That's quite a gap.
That's amazing.
And it just shows you, I mean, Stanton, man, with all the injuries, that's just hampered his career. But that just shows you the bat speed that these two generate, to get that kind of torque with a bat and putting your body into it. When you get a hard hit ball, what do they? Is it like anything over 95? They're considering hard hit.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's 27 miles an hour, almost 28 miles an hour faster than the baseline for a hard hit ball.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, I would not catch it. I would move out of the way if I had.
Well, I would see little league and high school kids sort of olay it, like I ain't getting near that thing. Jack Buck used to say, he had a famous line when somebody like Dave Kingman was coming up, like, get the married men out of the infield. He would stuff like that. We can't leave the married men, get the single guys up in the infield. But my gosh, could you imagine just one taking a wrong hop and popping you or something like that? Oh my, it'd knock you out. It'd kill you. It could kill you. Golly.
I remember Mike Shannon telling the story when he was playing against the Giants in Bush, and Willie McCovey hit a ball so hard, he said it sounded like a stick of dynamite exploded, and the ball just bang, just kept going and was still going up when it hit the seats in the second deck at Old Bush Stadium. So sometimes you wonder, man, I wish I would have had StatCast back then to see, are balls being hit harder, or, were balls actually hit harder at one time, but I mean, during the steroid era, there had to have been some balls that were 125.
Thank God these guys don't use aluminum bats. Can you imagine that? Somebody would be getting killed. I'm glad it's still the old aluminum, because aluminum, those bats can last for years and years, and they're always snapping off these bats these days. But thank God they don't use that, because somebody would get hurt and they would hit balls into the stratosphere. Was it a fastball he hit that off of, or a changeup? What kind of pitch was it that he hit?
I don't remember paying attention to the pitch. I was just so enamored with how hard he hit it. I'm sure it was a fastball. Wow. That's just, to me, that's just ultra impressive to hit a ball that far. I mean, I drive a Chevy Spark, and I'm very happy when it hits like 60 miles per hour, and his ball would pass me standing, like I was standing still.
Hey, Vince, what'd you think? It's an honor, but they just announced the 2027 All-Star Game's going to be played at Wrigley Field. Now, I didn't know the statistics, but I thought Wrigley Field, I wonder if this is like their 6th or 7th All-Star Game. It's only will be the 4th All-Star Game at Wrigley Field, one of the oldest ballparks. 3 times at Wrigley Field, 1947, 1962 and 1990, and the American League won every game at Wrigley. So I'd like to see the National League turn this around, because I think, like Jimmy Turner said when he was on a couple of weeks ago, the National League looks a lot stronger this year team wise. Now, individual players in the All-Star game, that could be a little different. I hope they wear their home uniforms again. But Wrigley Field, that place is going to showcase. It's just a special place. All-Star game, the ivy's in full bloom. It's going to be a great time, man. But there's only so many seats. I'll never get to go. But the first World Series in 1947, they didn't have a MVP. It was before they named an MVP of the All-Star game. In the 1962 game, Leon Wagner of the California Angels was named the All-Star MVP. And in 1990, Julio Franco from the Texas Rangers was the MVP.
And he was 74 at that time.
Yeah, he was a young, spry 74, played like 16 more years. But that's kind of cool. And I'm glad Wrigley's getting to do that, because like I said, it was the last time, 1990. So, shoot, 35 years ago, they were due. But I would definitely tune in for that. And it should be just a nice backdrop when they do the home run derby and all that, pizzazz stuff they do. So, anyway, any thoughts on the Cubbies getting to host it?
I think it's good to be able to show off the facilities that have been majorly upgraded since the last All-Star game. So I'm sure we're going to see a lot of pregame stuff about the facilities and how impressive it is, and how they had to lift the stadium to get it
up to date,
and how they went under the street to create the dressing rooms and everything. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good showcase. And
I'm excited.
The thing about the where Wrigley is, it's not like there's hotels. There's the new hotel right across the street, but there's not enough hotels for 40,000 people. So public transit is going to be rocking, because there's really not much parking around Wrigley. So it's going to bring a lot of money into the city, and I think it's going to be a good profile of baseball in Chicago that's not considered the White Sox. I do worry, because in '89 we made the playoffs and we had such high hopes, and then in '90 we flopped, and then we hosted the All-Star game. It was kind of like, oh yeah, I haven't disappointed years. So I hope we're having a good year by the time we have the All-Star game there in 2027. That'd be cool. Go National League.
Go National League.
So this player, Nick Enright, he made his major league debut for Atlanta this weekend, 2.5 years after a cancer diagnosis. So he had cancer diagnosis. He's went through all the recovery, which we know with cancer is absolute torment to go through. So that's pretty cool that he went through the cancer treatment, got better, clean bill of health, stuck with baseball, and he's finally made it to the major league. So kudos to Nick Enright. I hope he has some great games, just not against the Cubs.
Right. I agree totally like that. I love these little stories like that. Well, Vince, I'm going to be a little negative now. And one of the things I'm kind of negative about is the schedule. Here we are. We're going to be going into June, and the Cardinals and the Cubs haven't played each other yet. And
I'm not happy about that.
That's ridiculous. And I've heard people say this isn't my original idea. Oh, they would never do that with the Yankees and the Red Sox. Oh, no, they can make sure they spread them out equally and they're showcase those guys. But, Cardinals and Cubs are always a great moment in time, even if one team's much better. But this year we're both doing, one's really good, and we are okay. We're doing pretty good, more than expected, I will say. But one of the things, Vince, is if they're going to make the National League and the American League still two leagues and you got six teams, I think sometimes you're only playing one of those teams like a one series. And I think you should play your division more, the rest of your National League, an even amount, and then the rest could be interdivision and equally through your division, kind of like the way they did it a few years ago. Because now, because you're seeing a team maybe just once, you see a lot of games where it's raining, misting, the games aren't ending until 1 or 2 in the morning. And because if they have to, they might have to go back on a day off and finish these games. So they're trying to get them all in. And I just think it would be better for rainouts because if you did hit bad weather, later on when you meet up with them again, you just play a double hitter then. So, I know we're just a game behind, I believe, the Padres right now for that sixth spot, but I don't think we play the Padres much at all. And sometimes down the stretch, you're playing American League teams. I think we got the Cubs at the end. We Cardinals and Cubs will be playing right there at the end of the season. But sometimes when you've got a real race going, you might last time you see that team might be, you know, May or June or something like that. So I just kind of hope they tweak the schedule and make it where you get to see the opponents that really matter more down the stretch. That's just my little 2 cents right there, Vince.
Well, the way it's set up now, you play your division opponents 13 times, and it used to be 19.
Yeah.
You play all the teams in your league. You have one home series and one away series. That's why we're already done with the Dodgers. We're done with the Padres too. I think we still have to go to San Francisco, and Colorado was in right now, and we are done with Arizona. So, and then you play one series against each one of the American League teams. And one year, like we would play the Yankees in Wrigley, the next year we would play them in New York. That's the way that it's working out. I'm okay with the balanced schedule, I guess. My biggest beef is I'm not a big fan of playing your rival right out of the chute because I want you I want there to be 3 or 4 series that's played before you play your rival because then you kind of get into your groove and everything. But yeah, I would like to see a series or two in May, a couple series in the summer, and then a couple towards the end. And if when is our first series in June or July?
I think it's June. I think it's the very end of June.
Yeah,
I think it's here in St. Louis,
yeah,
right there at the end.
it's
And it's
getting
a weekday, which I can kind of see because we got better attendance on weekends. Cubs come in, we always have good attendance. A lot of Cub fans come down, back and forth. We go up, they come down. It's always a good house. So putting the week, I can kind of understand that. But for the Cub fans, I'm sure if it was a weekend, it'd even be more packed, but that's the way it is this year. It's going to be through the week in the end of June.
well, we've already played the Pirates, the Reds, and the Brewers one series each, and we will after this week we will play the Reds for the second series. That'll be the first second series we play. Um, but yeah, I just don't know why they couldn't have moved 1 or 2 of those series like May, beginning of June,
Yeah.
around there. I do like when we end the season um, with a rival game like last year. Who we ended with? I think we ended with the Reds, which is a division rival, but it's
Yeah.
not Cardinals.
Yeah. That's special.
Yeah. Yep. Um, I think Tarek Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball now.
I do too.
He shut out the Guardians 5-0. Complete game, 94 pitches. It's called a Maddox, under
Yes,
100 pitches.
I agree.
This is what amazes me. he still had 13 strikeouts, which means 13 hitters had to see at least 3 pitches, and you're going to have some balls in there too. So to strike out 13 and still keep it under 100 pitches, that's pinpoint control. In the ninth, he hit 102.6, so he still had plenty of juice in the tank. And for the season, for every 13.14 strikeouts, he'll have a walk.
My
Walk to
gosh.
strikeout of over 13 to 1 is stupid. That's Eckersley like. So he's got to be the best pitcher in baseball right now. And I know that, Kota Senga's having a great year. Yamamoto's having a great year. There are some other great pitchers, but boy, if I had to have one game right now, I think it's going to be Tarek Skubal who's going to be my choice.
Without the moves coming up, we don't know what teams are going to do through the course of the year, injuries, anything like that. But the Tigers, I really think them and the Yankees, that could be the cream of the crop right there. And when you have to face that Tigers staff, they've got 5 really good starters, a young
Yeah.
guy, and then Flaherty. I'm not being mean to Flaherty, but there's days where he'll have 3 starts that like, oh, this guy's an all-star player, and they'll have a couple where it's like, ooh, man, he was off tonight. But you know, I don't think the Dodgers would have won the World Series last year with all the injuries they had. Flaherty really stepped up. But that Tiger team and these young guys, and like you said, Screwball, I always think of him when he first came up, and Mize was a first-round draft choice, maybe the first pick in the draft. It's like his 3rd year now, and he's just starting to become who
Together,
they
yeah.
thought he would be. Screwball at the beginning wasn't quite. Not everybody's Paul Skeens that comes up and man, they take over. But he's now taking it to a whole nother level. And just enjoy this, fans, because he may have a 5-year window, he may have a 2-year window. Who knows? But I remember Steve Carlton was that guy, and Tom Seaver was that guy, and Pedro Martinez and Greg Maddux, and Roger Clemens was that guy. And you just enjoy it while you can, because yeah, these players, they come and they go. And so I'm excited. The Tigers came to town, and I was going to talk about them later, but they were just, man, they're very good. We gave them a good fight, but they were just better. I'll have to say, at the end of the game, I was proud of the Cardinals just hanging with them. And some games were in the balance where they could have went either way, but that's a really, really good team with a good closer too. So a great bullpen. That bullpen too, on top of everything. Every time they bring somebody else, and AJ Hinch is a good coach. So look out. This could be a Tiger year, man.
Yeah, batting ninth is Javi Baez, and he's having a heck of an offensive year, heck of a
He's found it.
defensive year too.
Yeah.
Uh, but they've put him ninth, and he kind of earned that ninth spot with bad play for a few years. But keeping him there, and like we've had batting ninth, we've had Matt Shaw, who since he's come back has been a threat. We've had Carson Kelly bat ninth, and he's having a heck of a year. When you can get some offense going at the back of the lineup, it really, there's just no weakness in the lineup. And you look at their lineup, they remind me a lot of the Cubs lineup. And I can honestly say, when I watched the Dodgers play, and I watched them this weekend against the Mets for a game, and watched the Yankees play, the bottom of their lineup can be gotten. But there are 2 teams that I see in Major League Baseball where there's just no weakness in the lineup. But right now, it's the Tigers and the Cubs. It's not saying it's going to stay that way. I'm just saying right now, that's why they're both doing so well, is because they're getting offense 1 through 9. And it's not like you're thinking, okay, well, good thing I faced the 6th, 7th, and 8th batter this inning. So, no, you're facing Swanson, Horner, and Carson Kelly, or Miguel Amaya or somebody. There's just no let up. And in their lineup, I think Torkelson's batting 5th. And then their 6th, 7th, and 8th hitters, when I was looking at their averages, and OPS is very high for the bottom of the lineup. And then there's Baez, and it's almost like two lineups. You go 1 through 4 with your three best hitters, and then your power guy at the cleanup, and then you're going to the bottom of the lineup, and at the tail end of that lineup is Javi Baez, who people forget once had like a 35 home run season. So
Oh,
uh,
yeah.
that's hard to face.
Vince, what do you think? Back in the old days, it would have been an insult to a player. Like they always said, a certain kind of guy led off. I remember Max when Schwarber went to the leadoff man. I was like, well, he's not your prototypical leadoff man, but my gosh, he had so many first inning, first home run come up to hit a home run. You're like, well, that went out the window. And sometimes your best hitter would be in the third spot. You had your big power guy fourth. And you always still have an RBI guy, but I think the game's changed where it's just I'm in the lineup. Arenado, I think an excellent shot at the Hall of Fame. He took himself out of the fourth spot, said, we've got guys who can do better than me. And him and Ali agreed to put him down the sixth spot. And he's actually thriving down there in the sixth spot. So I don't know. What do you think? I don't think it's a set like it used to be where your fat guy is first and your best player not necessarily is third anymore. And like Baez, like you said, some players would like scoff at it, like I'm not going to bat ninth. It would be an insult. But I think those days have kind of changed, come and gone now.
I remember like in the 70s, the Dodgers, it was always Lopes and Russell.
Yeah.
You get Lopes on base, Russell takes a lot of pitches, allow Lopes to steal. Russell, great handler of the bat, then he could um, uh, try to hit the ball to the right side of the diamond. And if he doesn't get a hit, at least, probably ground out or fly out to right field. Lopes be on third, 1 out, score on a sacrifice fly, a wild pitch, a single, just about anything. And that was the traditional way. And then when LaRussa was in Oakland, he started putting Dave Henderson at number 2 in his lineup. And Dave Henderson would strike out quite a bit, but Dave Henderson had pop in his bat. LaRussa said, I want my number 2 guy to be a threat. And now it's to a point where they've said, right off the bat, I want a threat out there. And as the stolen base has diminished, you see that Kyle Schwarber leading off. The Cubs have a traditional leadoff hitter. Not that he's a burner, but Ian Happ gets on base a lot because he takes a lot of walks. So he's more of a table setter, even though he's got some pop and usually hits somewhere between 20, 25 home runs. But you start to see that teams are putting so much pressure in that first and second slot now. We got Kyle Tucker hitting second. And the traditional lineup of having your big guy hitting fourth, that's kind of moved to that second spot because you could probably get another 3 or 4 at bats per week if you move him down 2 slots in the lineup and get him more at bats. And that's why, like, we've had Michael Busch hitting cleanup. Not a traditional cleanup hitter. He's probably going to hit 20 home runs, but he's not like that 40 home run threat that's coming in batting cleanup. But that's how lineups are made nowadays. We've had PCA batting cleanup for the past couple of weeks. And I mean, he hits homers, but he also steals bases, he bunts. It's lineups. You're right. Lineups have changed. And to call the fourth hitter a cleanup guy is kind of an old fashioned term because it's not necessarily your best power hitter in the lineup anymore.
You're right. Yeah.
Who's hitting fourth for the Cardinals now?
Right now it's Contreras when he had some back spasms, but he's our fourth guy right now.
Who's batting second?
Ideally.
Who's
Mason
batting?
Wynn. It goes Newtbar, and then it goes Wynn, and Wynn's been bunting more, and Newtbar is notorious for taking 7-8 pitches, making them batters work. And then Wynn comes in, and he's popped a few home runs. He's surprisingly, for a shortstop of that size, has some pop, but he's also a stolen base threat. And then that's when we have Donovan at third because he's one of I think he's like third in the league in base hits right now. So he'll put the bat on the ball. A lot of them are selfless this year, moving the guy over. You know, 2 strikes, choke up a little bit, put it on the ground. Maybe it finds a hole, maybe not, but at least move the runner over. Much better than the last 2 years at that particular thing. And I give that all the credit to our hitting coach and these young guys buying in. And I think that's why we have a little success this year.
Yeah, I've heard some of the older fans clamor for PCA to hit leadoff, and he did hit leadoff for a few games when Hap was on the IL. But he's got speed. He can bunt. He can get a hit. He can steal bases. He can do that from any spot in the lineup. Yeah, so I like Hap as a table setter because he does have that high on base percentage that immediately you get him on base and Tucker's up and Hap can steal you a base. It's already becomes a quagmire for the pitcher very early in the game. But
I,
could you imagine being a pitcher? Let's say you pitched in the early 1970s, and then you were cryogenically frozen. The last game you pitched in, you faced the A's in 1971, and Bert Campaneris was the leadoff hitter, who was about 2'10" and weighed about 38 pounds.
oh, yeah.
And then you're cryogenically frozen, and they bring you back now, and they say, "Okay, you're facing the Phillies," and up comes Kyle Schwarber. Like, the heck's this game about? Why am I starting in the middle of the lineup?
And your fastball's 88, maybe 89, which is fast back then. But, Vince, even from when we started watching it, I mean, you had your Seavers and your Ryans and your Carltons, but I think it was the Tigers. Every one of those guys threw 98 miles an hour. Everyone, anybody they brought in out of the bullpen, they were throwing 98, and you're like, what in the world is going on? But the old days, they didn't get hurt as much either. Or we didn't hear about it. I don't know, but we didn't hear about it as much. But I want to say something about the Cubs real quick. PCA and Tucker are the two guys, and nothing against any disrespect to any others. Wherever they're at in the lineup, as a fan of the other team, I know where they're at. I'm like, oh man, we better get out of this inning because look who's coming up in 2 batters. Before he even gets on the on deck circle, you know where they're at in the lineup. Now, the Cubs have no, used to the 8-9 guy, even the American League. You're like, man, they're there for defensive purpose. They might hit you 180 or 210 or something like that. But no, not I'm telling you, the Cubs don't have a weak spot. Now, there may be a guy that maybe he's not, maybe this week, maybe in the last 10 days, he's only hitting 230. Okay, maybe we'll go after him this time around. But there's not an easy out in that lineup at all. But PCA and Tucker are the two. You're like, oh crap, they're coming up at this 2-hole this next inning. It's gonna be trouble.
Yeah, every lineup has one or two guys in it that you're saying they're not going to beat me. If we get beat by this team, someone else is going to beat me. And there are situations in a ball game where you have to pitch to them. But man, I mean, with the Cardinals, you're looking at we don't want Contreras to beat us, and we don't want Donovan to beat us. That's what you're going to be most careful with. It's nothing against the rest of the players; they're very good players, but you've got to pick out a couple players that you decide they can't beat me because if I'm not careful with them when I'm pitching to them, they're gonna have huge games.
Yeah, it'll be over fast. Yeah.
Let me get through some of the transactions and injuries this week. Kyle Gibson's been released by the Orioles, and if you cannot pitch for the Orioles as bad as they are now, your career just might be over. Gene Segura, who I always liked, even though he played for the Brewers for quite a while, Gene Segura has retired. Good career.
Yeah.
Liked him. Justin Verlander is on the 15-day IL with a strained right pec. And I don't think Verlander's been healthy for the last 3 or 4 years. That could be because he's, pushing Social Security age. Carlos Correa was removed from the 7-day IL, the concussion protocol. That's good. Hunter Renfroe from Kansas City has been DFA'd. Kind of having a rough go at it in his career. Ronald Acuna comes off the IL and decides, you know what? I'm going to show everybody why I was such a good player a couple of years ago. Home run his first at bat, home run in the second game, and he's just picking up right where he left off. So I look for the Braves to start taking off again in that division. So I mean, the the Mets were so hot, and it's not like the Mets really cooled down a lot. But suddenly the Phillies won 9 in a row, and
Oh
overtook
yeah,
them. And now you're going to have the Braves with their best player in that lineup. That's going to be a fun division to
it
watch.
sure is.
Jason Hayward for the Padres is on 10-day IL with a strained left oblique, which is now the injury of the year, the oblique
Oh,
injury.
yeah, man, the obliques are falling apart.
Yeah. Alex Bregman's on the 10-day IL with a strained left quad, having an all-star season. So the Red Sox are going to need him back. And the Red Sox kind of meddling around 500, and they either they're a stale team. They either need to catch fire, make a trade, do something to take off, or they need to get rid of some of those high priced people that they could move at the trade deadline, like a Trevor Story, and kind of reboot a bit.
Is it
Jack
got has
Peter,
things got better with Devers? I know that was a whole thing with their first baseman hurt.
oh
They
he
wanted
does,
to
he doesn't want to
he
play first base.
see, and I can't see, and I know he makes a lot of money, but I can't see them. Nobody really, unless they need a third baseman, but he's not that good of a third baseman.
Yeah, when Shaw went down, there was some talk, we should put a package together for Devers because he's not happy in Boston. I didn't want that to happen because number one, he's not a great defensive third baseman, but number two, he's already showing his colors. He's not a team player.
No,
I don't want him messing up the
no,
chemistry of the locker room. If I'm not playing third, then
yeah,
maybe DH this year. I do kind of see his point when they tell him you're our third baseman. Oh, well, we got this guy now, so you're the DH, and he didn't
yeah.
like that. But then he started hitting, catching fire, and then there's we want you to be the first base. He said, "Nah, forget it."
Uh,
So anyway, Jock Peterson for Texas on the 10-day IL with a fractured left hand, and Kevin PR has been DFA'd by the Rangers. That's kind of the walking wounded. You got anything else for general news?
yeah, just one little thing. They put out the MLB channel put out. I think it was their ex ball players and everything. The we're to 2025, the first quarter, uh, 25 years of this new century here, and this is what they put together. And I have to think about it, but they got Pujols for the first 25 years as the first baseman, Altuve at second, Jeter the shortstop, Adrian Beltre the third baseman, and the outfields Bonds, Trout, and Judge, Yachty Ketchum, and David Ortiz is the DH. Starting pitchers, they got five of them there: Verlander, Scherzer, Kershaw, Randy Johnson, and Roy Halladay. And the reliever, of course, Mariano Rivera. And there's two Cardinals there, and that made me pretty proud. But I don't know. I guess you can always these lists are fun to debate, and I say, well, I would use this guy instead of that guy. But that's who they put out there, and I know Bonds is associated with the steroids, but before that even became in question, he was an incredible player. And if you just look at his stats before, you think maybe he got much bigger. What a player. And Mike Trout, again, we talk about injuries all the time. What a career. Three-time MVP, was going to be one of the all-time greats. Still, I believe a Hall of Famer, but just not, DiMaggio and those guys. But what a great player. Moved over to right field. And of course, he's hurt again this year. Very sad. We talked about Stanton earlier, same kind of thing. And then Judge, it just seems like every year, Vince, he's just getting better and better and better. I just, I didn't see this coming. Big guy playing center field like that, and then batting average, hits, everything. He's a total package, man. That guy's great. So, any thoughts on that list they put together?
Um, I I would have to look at how much Pudge Rodriguez played in the 2000s.
Yes, I would
Uh,
take Pudge over Gotti.
yeah, because Yachty wasn't a great offensive player, and I used to think Yachty should be a Hall of Famer. Now I'm kind of like his wars in the 40s. Um, I think the intangible is there in that he was such a strong leader on that team. But now I'm wondering 5 years down the road when they start voting for Hall of Famers, are they going to look at that as much as they are, well, his war is only in the 40s? I don't know. I think that I don't think that the people in the Midwest undervalue him or overvalue him because we've seen him up close. We know what he meant to that team, and we know what he shut the run game down. I mean, not the last few years, but he just shut the run game down. Um, there was a time when pass balls almost never got by him. Um, but even though his war is only in the 40s, I used to say all the time, I don't care what he's hitting. The last player I want to see to come up the bat with the game on the line against the Cubs is Molina, because he
He
will
would come
find a
through.
way to make something happen.
I,
And
I
I think he's a Hall of Famer, but I'm just kind of wondering how much steam he, after a 5 year layoff, if those intangibles are still going to hold up, or if they're just going to look and say, well, his war wasn't high enough.
I like the 5 year layoff. I like that they could sit back and and look at everything, because sometimes there's so much excitement about a person after they retire, and you get a fresh perspective as you look back on their career. I kind of think of Yachty like Ozzy. They both weren't very offensive minded players. They just they weren't hit much of a hitters. And as time went by, they made themselves pretty good hitters. And if you look at and Yachty played a long time, so some of the all-time top 10 things, Yachty has got into him because just the longevity of it all. But I believe, like you said, the intangibles, making the pitching staff better, keeping the running game in check. Uh, tough, tough. He got a foul ball. I think it was Jordan Hicks. And I believe he lost a testicle, went on the IR, and he came back within 10 days. Now, let me tell you something. If JD Drew had lost a testicle, we wouldn't have seen him for 2 years. He'd been
That's
gone.
just that's just nuts.
That's crazy. But I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is just something else. Tough. Catching is a tough thing. If you look
That
at how
had
many
to have
games,
been a foul ball.
you never know. You're like that's an art. You do the RKO, Vince. You never know. And I'll say RKO. You slam it in there, man. That's very good. Very good. But
That
the endurance of Yachty, all the games he played like I believe 120 is like a lot for a catcher. And sometimes he was playing up in the mid 140s. Just played all the time. Did not want, and there was no DH back in Yachty's days in the National League. So he was out there catching, and
and I
just the impact on the game and stuff like
I
that.
can guarantee you he never ran out an infield hit. He
No. Well, I have seen them go to the mound, and if they can get him hit on the ground, it's probably going to be a double play. I'll be dead honest with you. But his lifetime batting average isn't that bad. And if he had average speed, he would have been he would have been, a 270 hitter. But, I don't know where his lifetime batting average was, but it's better than you would think it was. And he stole a few bases. And Yachty, like we just said, he not much on the speed, but sometimes you look down at the end of the year and he has 6, 7 stolen bases. Like, Lord, how do you do that? I think he's just shocked the other team. They went to, I can't believe he's going, he'd slide down there and take the base. So anyway, I love Yachty, but I'm a homer. And so that's why I don't vote, because he's just got a special place in my heart. So I saw a lot of 10 lists, and some he's not on. And when he does make the top 10 list of all-time catchers, sometimes he's like 10th. He's at the 10th. But if you're the 10th best catcher ever, you got to go shout out to Hall of Fame.
Now, did he finish with 2,000 hits, over 2,000?
I believe so.
Because I
Yes.
know Ozzie finished with over 2,500, which
Yeah.
was amazing considering how bad of a hitter he was
Yeah.
when he was in San Diego.
Though Ozzy's speed, he had that speed where he could leg out stuff. And Ozzy had a lot of stolen bases. But Yachty, he wasn't blessed with that. Them catchers are usually short and squatty. And he saved himself from behind the plate. All right. He'd leg it out down there. But yeah, I believe he did. And there was a couple other stats. Hits. I believe he's real high up in Cardinal history in hits, too. Pretty high up in there. Games played, he's up there. In one stat, he's ahead of Albert. Maybe that's games played in the Cardinal uniform because Albert was gone for a long time. But yeah, look that up, Vince.
I am. That's bothering me now how many hits he had.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought he did. But he's in a couple top 10 categories, pretty high up there for Cardinals in Cardinal history.
Let's see. He finished his career with 2,168 hits.
Pretty good for a guy that didn't hit.
What do you think his career average was?
Vince, I'm going to say 254. Is that close?
Not even close.
All right. What was it?
277.
About that.
That's
Yeah.
freaking excellent.
Yeah, see, and we watched him all these years. You wouldn't have thought that, but he had some really good years in there. 277. I take that.
Yeah, he had over 1,000 RBIs, 1,022 RBIs. Yeah, when you had the defensive intangibles there, the defensive work and the intangibles of his leadership, I certainly think he's a Hall of Famer. But like you're right, I see Hall of Fame lists come out or catcher lists come out, and usually if he's not on there, he's 9 or 10th.
Yeah,
And
that's very respectable.
in the history of baseball, that should be Hall of Fame consideration.
Yeah, you're not nobody. I don't see anybody breaking the top three. You got Yogi, you got Bench, and you got Pudge. Ivan Rodriguez, and man, them three were just. I don't know. That's just another level right there.
Lavalier, players like that.
Smokey.
What's happening with the Cardinals, by the way?
Well, the Cardinals right now, we are 3 games behind the Cubs, and I give a lot of respect to the Cubs. I watched a lot of Cub games this year. That's a great team. And all you folks out there, remember, they've been without their top 2 starters. I mean, the ones that were deemed their ace and their number 2. One's going to be out the whole year, and the other guys had a stint on the IR. So to be 3 games back, and we don't have the speed the Cubs do. We don't have the speed. We don't have the power. I think defensively we're as good. I personally think that. I think maybe our bullpen, I don't right now, but I don't see the Cubs staying flat right there. I think your starting pitching's better than our starting pitching. We just don't have any strikeout guys. I mean, Sonny Gray, I guess, could be counted as a strikeout guy. And plus, we haven't had many injuries. We've been having guys. I mean, we thought Herrera would be out for a long time, and he bounced back pretty quick. Wynn was hurt a little bit. But we've been really just blessed, knock on wood, not to have anybody on the IR. Yeah, I knocked on some wood too. But I just think the Cubs, a team like them, if you can just play with them and maybe squeak, things break right for you. But I think a 10-game series, like if we played 10 games, I think they'd win 7 or 6, at least 6, but 7, maybe even 8. I think that's how much better you are than us. And I always say the Cubs are like 2 years ahead of us because Tucker is just in his prime, a great player in his prime. And I look at Arenado as a great player at the end of his prime. And Contreras, learning a new base, being fantastic. Love him. Just above the defensive capabilities of first base that I thought he would have, and then Sonny Gray doing what he does. But my goodness, but the Cardinals' strength is we battle the pitchers. And even Scooble, we got him out with 5 2/3 innings. And that's a remarkable because we battled them. We just battled them and got to the bullpen, which was very good too. But I'll talk about that in a minute. And right now, the Cardinals are 19-8 at home and 11-16 on the road. And we've really come a long way in bringing that road record up because we were terrible on the road there for a while. I'd like to talk about the St. Louis attendance at the ballpark. I was really worried about that. We've had a lot of bad weather. We've had school in session, and the Cardinals were averaging. We had a sellout opening day, which is great, but we were averaging about 24,000 fans a ball game. And you look around the ballpark, and it was sad. It kind of hurt my heart to see that. But this homestand, we had the Diamondbacks over the weekend, and we had 33, 34, and 36,000 fans there. So they've made a big impact. School's out now. There's a holiday weekend. And the Diamondbacks are a good team, and the Cardinals are playing better. So maybe all those factors. I heard somebody say today, maybe our attendance will reflect how the team's doing. The team gets hot again, the attendance will go up. If they kind of go in a funk, well, maybe the attendance go down. We'll see, but we're headed in the right direction. So the games this week, we went 3-3. To be honest with you, we started out with Detroit, and we were at home, and we lost 5-4. Leahy, he's been fantastic, and the bullpen had a bad game. He had a bad outing. He actually just gave up a hit at the absolute worst time. We were down 4-0, and the Cardinals fought back in the eighth, only to lose in the ninth. And I like the spirit of this team. They fight. They never are out of a game. They battle. But anyway, that was kind of what happened on that Tuesday. And Skubal, we faced Skubal, and he wasn't in the winner of the loss. He pitched a heck of a game, though. 5 2/3 innings, 3 earned runs, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. So, as an opponent of Skubal, that was a victory. Just holding him to under 10 strikeouts and getting him out of the game so quick. And we got to the bullpen. And that's kind of the Cardinals' MO. And in that game, also Fetty pitched, and yeah, he's been a little shaky lately. 5 innings, 4 earned runs, no walks, and 2 Ks. And really, he did all right. The bullpen did great, and we held in there. Vince, the 2 things I've been worried about. I'm ecstatic about our team, but the 2 people are Jordan Walker and Gorman. They just strike out too much. Their batting averages are, like 168, 172, right in there. And I was just like, oh, come on, but Walker has showed some life here lately. In that game, he went 1 for 3, did strike out twice, and he got his batting average up to 199. If you had seen where he's been, that's a big, big improvement. Herrera 2 hits, Arenado 2 hits, and Matz pitched 2 2/3 innings out of the bullpen and didn't give up any earned runs and 2 strikeouts. And Matz has become like Andrew Miller. He's a guy that come in out of the bullpen and pitch 3 innings, or he can be a spot starter. And I like him in that bullpen. He's done a heck of a job. So shout out to Steven Matz. Well, Wednesday, we had the rubber game against the Tigers, and we lost 5-1. And you just got to say, hey, the Tigers are the best team we played so far this year. And they were the first they had the best record through 50 games on that night. We only got 5 hits. And sometimes you just have to tip your cap that the team they were the better team that night. Burleson did get 2 hits. He went 2 for 4. And Palante went 5 2/3 and gave up 3 earned runs. The Tigers beat us 2 out of 3. And to be honest with you, going into that series, I thought, man, if we can get 1 win against those guys, I'll kind of be happy about that. Thursday, we had a day off, and then the Arizona Diamondbacks came in, and the Diamondbacks have been playing very good. They're a very, very good team. On Friday, we played them here in St. Louis, and we beat them 4-3, and we were down 1-0 in the 6th inning, and Herrera walked with bases loaded. And I tell you what, he hit in the minors, but coming up, he didn't hit in the big leagues. But this year, he's been phenomenal. So he worked a walk with bases loaded, and then with 2 out, Burleson struck out, so there was 2 outs, and Arenado came up and hit a triple and cleaned the bases, and we won that game 4-3. Gorman went 0 for 3, batting average 171. So I'm really concentrating on Walker and Gorman. And Vince, a lot of people said, well, they said they were going to give these guys a runway. They're going to give them a runway. Well, I agree, but we're going to give all the guys a runway. And Walker, when he's not playing, it's Alec Burleson, who's also a young player. The DH is Herrera. who's also a young player. So it's not like we went and got these veterans to take these guys' spots. It's other young players who are getting playing time over them. Gorman, if he plays, he can play DH. He's second base, but you got Donovan there and Sajasi when he was here. So, and they're young. And well, Donovan's, I would say, in his prime years now, but Sajasi's younger than Gorman. So, anyway, that's what's going on with them, and he's hitting 171. Victor Scott stole a base his 14th, and he's 14 out of 15. And that's another thing about the Cubs. Their whole line, they've got about 3 or 4 guys to steal bases. We got one. Wynn can steal you a few. I mean, everybody can steal one every once in a while, but you guys have about 3 to 4 major threats that when they get on base, oh, there's a good chance they're going to go. But Victor Scott's our one guy who is like that. Zach Gallen, an old Cardinal hand, and really has took it to us. We faced him, and he went 5 2/3 with 4 earned runs, and he's having a rough year. He's had really good years, but this year he has not been a good year for him. And he faced Michaelis, who went 6 innings, 1 earned run, got another quality start, and his ERA is 3.51. A lot of people was wanting to run Michaelis out of town at the beginning of the year, but Vince, he's only had like 1 really bad game. A lot of quality starts, has done a really good job in getting the most out of his ability. And I give Ollie a lot of respect there because he never lets the other team get him to the 3rd time around. He usually gets him out of there at the right time. So far, it's worked pretty good. So that second game, so we won the first game 4-3. The second game, we went 6-5, and that's it was Mason Wynn bobblehead day at the ballpark. Mason Wynn's mother was there, and he has slowly become one of the faces of the future of the St. Louis Cardinals, and absolutely love him. I know you think a lot of him too. Outstanding young ball player, really good guy. And this game here may be the game where Jordan Walker has turned the corner here. He's been playing good in the outfield, but this is a weird game for him. He went from the hero to the GOAT to the hero again. He came up, and we were down in the 7th inning. He got a double and brought in Arenado. And then in the top of the 8th, he missed a ball that was hit right at him. He dove forward to it. It got past him and went to the wall. And the Diamondbacks had this huge inning where they take the lead. And then in the bottom of the 8th, he comes in and gets a single to bring in Burleson for the game-winning run. And I know this sounds weird, Vince, but I'm just so proud of him. I was like, oh, I believe in this kid. I know if it just gets going and he gets some confidence, this kid's going to be somebody special. I liken him to the Nationals' James Woods, a big, tall, just strong kid that can. He's so strong, and I'm excited. So things are going good at Livador. 7 innings, 1 earned run, and he has been the ace of our staff. So we took the first 2 by 1 run. And Sunday, again, another 1-run game. The Cardinals went 4-3. It was a back and forth game. One team would take the lead, the other team come back. And in that game, Walker went 2 for 3, and he's got his batting average up to 212. And if you've seen where he's come from, that's a big improvement. 212. Wynn went 1 for 3, but he hit a home run. It was pretty much a game-winning hit there. Got a walk and an RBI, and he's got the 6th home run of the season for him. And Donovan got 3 more hits, and he's hitting 328. And I tell you what, if we, everybody, the All-Star team, he might be our guy, our representative. I don't know how many Cardinals are going to make it this year, but Donovan could be our representative at second base. So, anyway, Sonny Gray, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, and Sonny's been outstanding all year for us. And Arenado, I tell you what, Vince, every once in a while we get a player that I would pay money just to see that guy play. And Arenado's that guy. There was a foul ball going down the line, and he went running with he didn't care about himself. Flew into the stands. Now they got a net now, but I think he hit the arm of the chair, and it was a big part of the game. And then he threw the ball in because he didn't want them advancing. And he came out and was holding his back. And you think, oh, no, not Arenado. He can't be hurt. And the ball comes in. And there was a rule I'd never heard of. if you leave the field, you can catch the ball and leave the field, but you can't throw it from outside the field back in. So both runners got to move up a base. And I could tell even the announcers were like, what's going on? Vince, I never heard that because I seen Jeter go into the stands. Yeah, I've never, I guess when Jeter went to the stands, he caught it and then he got back, jumped over, and then he threw the ball in after he got back on the field. I don't recall, but Arenado stayed in the game. And that card that, and I tell you what, we had about 37,000 fans at that game. All of a sudden, it was just like you could tell it's like a playoff game. And the crowd was just revved up. And it seemed like, man, this is the way it's always been in St. Louis. So maybe the good days are coming again. And Arenado said game now we play Monday because it's Memorial Day. And, you know, nobody has a day off on Memorial Day because that's a big day for people to go to the ballpark. And we go out to Baltimore. And I've got this written somewhere. And we lose 5-2. They got an early lead on us. And Arenado didn't play in the game. And Gorman played. And he made an error. He's not Arenado defensively. Nobody is. But we hear the Arenado's day to day. And I just want him to get healthy because we're a better team with him in the lineup. But Gorman that day did get 2 hits. So that's good. And I have to say, Charlie Morton resurrected. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden he pitched a heck of a game. And he just outdueled us. Dylan Carlson played because another Cardinal, Tyler O'Neill's hurt, so Carlson played, and he hit a big 3-run homer against us. Pretty much, he was the guy. Yeah, hey guys, why didn't you do that when you were here? And then Fetty only went 5 innings and 3 earned runs and 5 Ks and a walk. And our bullpen, though, I will say this: we've got like 3 groups that we can use at any time, and there's the ones they like to use all the time. And I have to say, when Schultz was here, he had like 3 guys he liked, and he would wear them out. Because I know there's a lot of pressure winning, but Ollie, and maybe it's just because we have a better bullpen now than Schilt did, but it seems like there's the A, B, and C guys. And the A guys sometimes don't get to be used as much because it's not a safe situation, whatever. But I'm really liking how he's using the bullpen. And in that game, even though we lost, the bullpen went 3 innings with 3 hits, no earned runs, and 3 strikeouts. And that was Spanson. This is like our C guys. King, and Crescefo, who's a young guy who I think they're grooming to be the closer. So 3-3 for the week, Vince. We're just 3 games behind the Cubs. The Cubs played one of the toughest schedules at the beginning of the year, but now they get the fruits of their labor. They beat up on the tough teams, and now they're getting these, you know, what do they call them, like houses of the poor or whatever, the sisters of the poor, and they're just beating the crap out of these teams. So being 3 games behind the Cubs, pretty proud of that. We're in second place and a game behind the Padres for that last playoff spot at the moment.
Very good. Well, starting off with Cub news, congratulations to Seiya Suzuki, National League Player of the Week.
Fantastic, man.
Just announced right before I got on here. Nicky Lopez has been outrighted to the minors, and he refused the assignment, so he is a free agent. Ryan Brazier of Dodger fame, he came off the IL. Ethan Roberts was sent down. Julian Merriweather, who has just not looked the same as he did 2 years ago, he's been DFA'd. And Bruce Keish was purchased from the minors, put on the 40-man, and now he's with the big league team. Miguel Amaya is on the 10-day IL with the dreaded strained left oblique. And so we purchased Reese McGuire, put him on the 40-man. And Sunday we brought him. He was playing in Columbus, Ohio, minor league. Iowa was there, and so I guess he Ubered to Cincinnati, and he was just going to be the backup catcher. And he gets there, and they said, "Hey, Carson Kelly's got a bug. You're catching." So what does he do? He goes out and he hits 2 home runs. So welcome to Chicago, Reese McGuire.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's happened with general players. So going into the games real quick, we went 5-1 this week, which we should have because our schedule has finally lightened up. Although we did have the Reds, that's always scary to go into a rival city, and boy, they got some pitching. So I was thinking if we can go 1-2 in Cincinnati, take care of business with Miami, take care of business with Colorado, I'll be happy. So after losing Monday night to Miami, Tuesday while we were recording, we beat the Fish 14-1. Suzuki 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs and a home run. Tucker 3 for 4 with a home run, RBI. Carson Kelly 2 for 6. Swanson 2 for 4 with an RBI. PCA 2 for 5 with an RBI. Justin Turner's finally starting to hit and show some power. 3 for 4 with an RBI. And Matt Shaw has been looking great since he's been back. He was 2 for 5 with an RBI in that game. Tyone pitched 7 innings, gave up 1 run. And Flexen came in and pitched a perfect 8th and 9th. And Flexen yet still does not have an ERA.
Oh man.
Yeah. So Wednesday, we beat the Fish 2-1. Tucker 3 for 4 with a home run, RBI. Shaw was 1 for 2 with an RBI, or excuse me, with a run scored. So tough game. Cade Horton, 5 1/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Very good work. We did score our run in the 8th, the winning run in the 8th, and Brad Keller got the win. He is now 1-0, and Palencia came in and he got his first save after blowing the game on Monday. He didn't look that bad. It's just one of those things that they got to him. But I really think he's our closer, and I'll get into that a little bit later. We had Thursday off, and then Friday we go to Cincinnati, and we won 13-6. We were down 6-2 going into the 7th, and I know I sound like a broken record because that's happened so many times. But man, some of these teams, when we can get to their bullpen, we can really do some damage. And this game scared me because Hunter Green, who I thought we were going to miss, came off the DL and was pitching that first game against us. But we ended up winning 13-6. Suzuki 3 for 5 with a home run, 3 RBIs. PCA 3 for 5, 6 RBIs, including a grand slam. Swanson 1 for 4 with a 2-run home run. Horner 3 for 5, and Flexen got the win. Still no ERA, and Boyd he pitched 4 innings, gave up 4 runs. Merriweather came in his last game as a Cub, pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 runs. We were down 6-2, and I thought, great. But we came back and won. So we're going for the sweep on Sunday. Wait a minute. No, this is Saturday's game. Yeah, Saturday's game. We lose 6-4 to the Reds. And Carson Kelly was 2 for 2 with a home run. Justin Turner 1 for 3 with a home run. Shaw 3 for 4. And even though it sounds like, okay, we gave up 6 runs, Colin Ray started and he gave up all 6 runs. But it was one of those games where theirs were finding holes and we were hitting the ball and we were finding gloves. And it just happened.
Everybody.
It just happens that way. And if it would have been a normal game and the hard hit balls were hits and those that were soft hits that found holes were caught, we'd have swept this series. But we lost that game on Saturday. So we come back Sunday and we win 10-8. Suzuki 3 for 4 with a home run, PCA 2 for 5. And like I said, Reese McGuire came up 2 for 5 with 2 solo shots. Ben Brown, 4 1/3 innings, 8 runs, 8 earned runs. His ERA is 6.39. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have so much hope for you. So, but the thing is, our pitching's so devastating. We gotta keep rolling him out there. So hopefully he'll put it together. Pomerantz came in and he got the victory. Drew Pomerantz does not have an ERA yet either. So Brad Keller came in the 8th. Pitched an inning, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts. His ERA is 2.49. Brad Keller was just one of those arms we thought, okay, we'll stockpile on. He's been fantastic. And Daniel Palencia came in and he got his 2nd save, 1 inning pitch and a strikeout. And so yesterday we played the Rockies, who who are 9-46, I think now. Um, we won 3-1. The wind was blowing in. Tucker was 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Shaw was 0 for 1, but had 2 walks and 2 runs scored. And in that game, Tyone started 6 1/3 innings, 1 run, 7 strikeouts. Valencia came in the ninth, had a perfect ninth, 2 strikeouts for his 3rd save. So he saved 3 games this week. And his ERA is a microscopic 1.93. And I think we have our closer in Daniel Valencia. Great stuff. So 5-1 for the week.
Outstanding.
And we need to beat up on these bad teams. We did what we had to do with that tough part of the schedule. And like I said, I was hoping we'd be somewhere floating around 500, but we were a few games over 500. Now that the schedule's eased up a bit, we are starting to pile wins. And that's how it's going to have to be for the next few weeks when we're playing these weaker teams. We need to pile up as many wins, build as big as a cushion as we can, because we still have 13 games with the Cardinals, who are a pretty damn good team. We still have games with Mets. We still have games with the Phillies. We still have the Yankees. We still have the Tigers to play. So we have some tough teams, the Royals to play. We have some tough teams yet to play. But we do have this kind of lull in the schedule where we can maybe pile up some wins. So, who else is piling up wins?
Oh, Jeremy Connor. That's who is.
Always piling up the wins. Yes. Comes a time in every man's life when he needs some advice on relationships. You need to listen to the podcast DMDR, which stands for Dating, Marriage, Divorce, Remarriage, from my good friend Jeremy Connor, the Dr. Phil of the Boot Hill. You can find DMDR on Spotify or whatever platform you choose to listen to your podcast. Me and JJ, we are going to talk about, at this point in the season, kind of 3 categories. Players from our teams that should be in the All-Star game, players on our teams that could be in the All-Star team, and players that kind of have an outside chance of being on the All-Star team. So, JJ, I'll go ahead and go first, and I'll just do all mine, then you do all yours, and
Okay.
we'll have a party, okay?
Sounds good. And open cards.
I've got 3 Cubs that absolutely should be in the All-Star game, and it's going to surprise nobody. First is PCA. He should be the starting center field in the All-Star game. He's hitting 280. He is up amongst the league leaders with 54 runs scored. He's up amongst the league leaders with 14 home runs. He is tied for second in Major League Baseball with 48 RBIs. And he has 14 stolen bases, which is good for 7th in the league. And he has an 875 OPS. And when you add that with, he has batted leadoff. He has batted in the second. He has batted cleanup, where he's been batting the last few days. He's batted 5th. He has batted 7th. He's been up and down the lineup because we didn't know what he was going to do this year. So we started, well, we'll put him in the 7th hole. That's safe enough. And he's produced everywhere he's been. But the cherry on top of all this, he fields unlike any other person. I've been watching baseball for 50 years, and I know a hit when I see a hit going into a gap. And I am just shocked how many times I see a hit, and oh, there's a double. And all this, he's just drifting and catches the ball. And it's not just his speed. He gets the best jump that I've ever seen. I never saw Willie Mays, but that's what everybody always said. At the crack of the bat, he had an instinct to know where that ball was going, and PCA is like that. Another aspect of his defense is he's got a cannon, and it is accurate, and you cannot run on this guy. So when you have a fly ball going into the outfield at Wrigley Field, you've got Happ in left, 2 or 3-time Gold Glover. I think a 3-time Gold Glover. You got PCA, who's going to be a future multi-Gold Glover, and you got Tucker, who's a Gold Glover in right field. Our outfield is tough to get hit into. I mean, you can get your line drive singles and stuff, but to get those extra base hits can be tough against this outfield. And most of it is just PCA, who can go gap to gap better than any center fielder I've ever seen. And the Cubs they had Kenny Lofton for a season. They've had some really good defensive center fielders. Bobby Denier was a good defensive center. Going
Yes.
back into the 70s, the Cubs had a center fielder named Joe Wallace who played so shallow that, man, he could run back and he can catch anything. Could not hit a lick, but he was a great defensive center fielder. I've just never seen a center fielder in a Cub uniform play at this level defensively. And like pushing 6 years old, and I'm feeling like a little kid every time I watch him,
He's special.
Yeah. Second player, no surprise to anybody, Kyle Tucker. He's hitting 280. He has 12 home runs, 39 RBIs. Kyle Tucker leads the Cubs in stolen bases with 15 stolen bases, good for sixth in the league. That's something we didn't bank on. And he's not a fast guy, but boy, he's an opportunistic runner. He's not going to run on someone who's left-handed. He's not going to run on a catcher who's got a good pop time. But if he knows this guy's slow to the plate, he's right-handed, and the catcher's he knows that's when I can go. He's got a 912 OPS, and defensively, he's really good. The only thing that I'm not impressed about his defense is he doesn't like obstacles. He doesn't like walls. He doesn't like other fielders. And when he gets close to another fielder or the wall, outfield wall or the foul wall, he gets tentative. And I'm thinking, I understand that you don't want to get hurt, but man, just put out a little bit more, because generally he gets to it, he can catch it, but he gets running towards the wall, and then outfield kind of alligator arms it a little bit because he's kind of got that fear in him. But everything else overcompensates that. He's got a great arm. He does catch everything that he gets to, and his offense is tremendous. And what he has no problem hitting left-handers. I mean, you might as well keep a right-hander in there. It doesn't matter. He's going to hit whomever he's playing against. But what impresses me is his bat to ball skills are tremendous. He doesn't strike out a whole lot, and pitch on the outside, that's okay. I will hit it into the left center field gap for a double, no problem. Pitch on the inside, I will pull it, get it out of the ballpark. Low pitch, that's okay. I can hit a chopper and beat it out. He's just got tremendous bat to ball skills to go along with the power. He's got a very high baseball IQ. So Tucker's my number 2 that should be an all-star. Number 3, Seiya Suzuki should be the all-star starting designated hitter. He's hitting 274, and I know things can still got 6 weeks to go. Things can go south. He's hitting 274, 14 home runs. He's leading Major League Baseball with 49 RBIs and a 910 OPS. So just a shade below Tucker. When Happ was out, Suzuki went into left field, and he played wonderfully. It's like, oh, yeah, this is the guy. He wasn't a bad defensive outfielder. He just, at inopportune times, he would drop a fly ball, or something like that. And it always happened at weird, like, sensitive times of the game. Tucker, he had minor health issues, so he was DHing for 2 or 3 games. And we put Suzuki in right field, and Suzuki played fine defensively. I think he even had an outfield assist while he was in right field. So it's not like we've got this guy at DH that has no value. He's not Hal McRae, who probably didn't even own a glove. But he has thrived in the DH role. And he's having an all-star season. And this is the Seiya Suzuki we thought we were going to get, the 30 to 35 run guy who was just such a tremendous threat. And when you watch him, he's probably our best pure hitter on the team. And one thing that he's doing different this year, last year he would take his walks a lot. And sometimes he would get called out on. He's had the worst strike zone in baseball since he's been there. He was second worst as far as bad calls that were balls that they called strikes in Major League Baseball for 2 straight years. Um, but this year he's much more aggressive. He's striking out a little bit more. He's not walking as much. But boy, his the rest of his offensive numbers sure are thriving. These are the players that could be all stars, and that's going to be contingent upon how everybody else does at their positions for the rest of the first half of the season. Dansby Swanson hitting 251, but he does have 11 home runs, 30 RBIs, and a 766 OPS to go along with stellar defense. This is a guy who a month ago was hitting about 160, and then he got hot. And Swanson is the streakiest hitter on the team. When he is hot, he can carry the team. And when he's hot, he does carry the team. So he could be an all-star. Another player that could be an all-star is Nico Horner, who is hitting 293 with 11 stolen bases and a 710 OPS. The thing about Horner is he's not a home run hitter. He doesn't have a home run this year. He does have 20 RBIs, and he leads. He's in the top 5 in baseball as batting average with runners in scoring position. He doesn't strike out. I think he's only struck out like 11 times all year. His back-to-ball skills are excellent, but he doesn't have that pop, but his defense is top-notch. He's a former Gold Glover, may win it again this year. So it's going to be contingent upon what second baseman have what kind of years, whether or not he's going to make it, and the lack of power numbers may keep him out of the All-Star game. Then I've got a few that have a slim shot. And when I mean a slim shot, I do mean very slim. The first with the slim shot is Carson Kelly. Catcher, 301 batting average, 9 home runs, 1.037 OPS. Yeah, that's an all-star. Of course, it's an all-star. He's only had 103 at-bats. He plays part-time. So I don't know if he continues in this trajectory where he's got an OPS that's 950 or above, they may have to put him in there just because, even though he doesn't have enough at bats to qualify as far as a league leader in OPS or batting average or something, those numbers just may push him over the top, contingent upon how other catchers are doing for the year. Second player is our other catcher, Miguel Amaya, who's hitting 280 with 4 home runs and 25 RBIs in only 93 plate appearances and 819 OPS. We have a catching position that is responsible for 15 home runs between Kelly, Amaya, and Reese McGuire, who came in and decided he'd hit a couple just for fun. So if you smash that into one player, we have an all-star catcher.
Yes.
But it's divided by 2 players and 1 player who's had a few games. So that will probably keep both of them out. Another player that has a slim shot is Imanaga. If he does come off the IL and he can run off 4 or 5 really good starts, win some games, he may sneak in there as one of the starting pitchers. For the year, he's 2-3, which doesn't sound great, but he's got an ERA of 2.82, and most of that was due to one game. He had one bad game. You take that bad game out, he's got an ERA around 1. So if he comes back and he has a good 4 or 5 weeks, perhaps he sneaks in. And this is my real wild card, and I've brought him up. Daniel Palencia, 3 saves. If we keep winning at a clip we keep winning at, he's going to get a lot of opportunities for saves. If he could rack up maybe 10 more saves by the All-Star break and have 13 saves, ERA below 2, and more than a strikeout an inning with that 103-mile-an-hour fastball to go with a slider and a splitter. I almost said spitter. He may be able to sneak in as a closer into the All-Star game. His whip is 0.86. So, and when he is on, that fastball, he can absolutely paint the corners at 101, 102. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance. And he's always had this great stuff, but this year is kind of neat to see him put it together. And he's got that mental makeup of a closer. You could just see him out there. He's a bulldog, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to dominate. So those are my should, woulds, and slim chances.
All right, Vince. I had my should, could, and long shot chances, but I'm a realist, Vince, and I love my Cardinals, but I'm being realistic. I really think the Cardinals only have one guy that really is having an all-star year. And that's Brendan Donovan, who's played second and also played other positions wherever they ask him, and all he does is hit. I love his attitude. He's professional, and I think he's already committed to the World Baseball Classic, and I just love this guy. And this is, I think he's a young guy on the team, but I think he's like a captain too. You got Arenado, Contreras, and Sonny Gray, but I think he's the fourth of those other guys, and he's the young guy on the team. And I'll be honest, there could be a possibility of three other guys. Arenado, just on name alone, and the defense he brings, but the bat has not been all-star caliber, but his defense definitely is. Let's see, Helsley, just for the amount of saves he has. But to be honest, Vince, about every third time he's been out there, it's been a little shaky. So he is mounting. He's got 9 saves, but I'll be honest with you, it's not. I don't think all-star caliber. And Herrera's the other one, but I don't think he's going to have enough time playing. Before Herrera came and became our DHs were collectively horrible, and then Herrera came and he's just light the place up. So I don't think he's going to have enough at bats. And we've had a lot of really good players exceeding expectations. But I'm going to be honest, we only got one, and that's Brendan Donovan right now. So I took my time because I was the guy when we used to bet or pick the all-star teams and you would do the thing. I might put one Cardinal on the all-star team. I try to be honest, I say, no, he's good, but Darren Dalton, I'm putting Darren Dalton on the team or whoever. So that's the way I always did it. I always put Ryan Sandberg at second, because I'd be lying if I didn't say Ryan Sandberg wasn't a better second baseman than anybody else in the National League. So that's just the way I did it. So I put the spotlight on a lot of unknown guys, or maybe guys people haven't heard of too much. And so these are my should-haves. There's a shortstop from Oakland the Athletics. It'll take me a while to get used to that. Jack Wilson. He came up for a cup of coffee at the end of last year. But Vince, this shortstop, I don't know offensively who can match this. 350 batting average, 6 home runs, 28 RBI, 70 hits. We're not even through May yet. 70 hits. He's played 51 games, so he's there all the time. 12 walks, 11 strikeouts, and he has a WAR of 1.9 for just the first 8 weeks of the season. This kid is special. I can't keep my eyes off of him. I always watch Oakland A's highlights or the condensed game because I want to see Jack Wilson play. He's fun. He's exciting. I hope he stays with the National Athletic. Oh, you're going to say something?
Yeah, you're saying Jack Wilson. That was the status, Josh Wilson.
Oh, it's Josh. Maybe I looked at the wrong guy. Josh Wilson is having a heck of a day.
And he was my pick for the Rookie of the Year for the American League. So,
well, you're on track, and that was a brilliant pick because this kid has just done nothing but succeed, and that A's team's fun to watch. And hopefully they get their own ballpark here real soon because they're playing in that like a minor league field. Another guy, and this is why I can't put any other catcher above this guy in the National League, Will Smith. You hear all these superstar names with the Dodgers, and you hear, you got, I could go down the list. It's like a rock star band, but Will Smith, 43 games caught, 45 hits, a 333 batting average, 5 home runs, plays a very good defense, 28 RBIs, and a 2.1 WAR here early in the season. And the guy he comes up and he gets the job done. And I think people take him for granted because the team is just so great. But he's one of the people that came up out of their minor leagues and just year after year does it. And I think he's an all-star. That dude is excellent. And the other guy that I think should make it, it's taken a few years. We mentioned him earlier in the show, but Casey Mize from Detroit. He is 6-1. Now that catches your eye. An ERA of 2.45. 8 starts. He's got 3 quality starts, but he's pitched 47 innings, which comes out to about 6 innings a game. And he has 47. I thought I had his strikeouts down there. But anyway, a WAR of 1.3, and he's been one of the reasons there's no day off with that Tiger pitching lineup. And I think I put the Tigers and the Cubs in that level. Like the Cardinals are a good team, but that's something else. And when you've got to face those five guys coming at you every week. Now, when the playoffs come and it's your three best versus their three best, that's going to get exciting. Man, for the season, they are built for the season right there. I don't know who they're going to narrow it down to the final three or the top three when they get to the playoffs, but that's an exciting team, and things look bright in their future. So that's my shoulds. My coulds, I like to bring some attention to a reliever for the Nationals, who we don't give a lot of love to. And nobody does, but Kyle Finnegan has done really good. 6th season, all with the Nationals. He's got 15 saves and a 2.41 ERA. It's not a big strikeout guy. He gets the saves. He bends, but he doesn't break. 17 strikeouts. He's 0-1, but he's got 17 and only 17 strikeouts, like I said, but he's got 15 saves. So that's I'm amazed. That guy comes in, and a lot of times with the Nationals, there's no room for error because they play a lot of tight games, and they're an up and coming team. But that Kyle Finnegan, man, I'd like to have him on my team. And the other could have, I'm giving some respect to the Cubs right here. I think Jason Taillon of the Cubs, I have enjoyed watching that guy play. And I didn't know he's been a big piece of y'all's team. He's only 4-3, but he's got a 3.86 ERA. He pitches about 6 innings every game, quality starts. So he'll go in there and keep you guys. And your offense is so good. If he just pitches this game, you guys got it in the bag because he puts 57 strikeouts and 12 walks. And I know you mentioned some other pitchers in there, but Taillon, I think he's man, I'd love to have him on my team. He's done a really good job. And he's just a guy that when you think of the Cubs, I don't know if he's in the first 5 guys you think of, but he's an outstanding player and he's done a really good job. And that was a great pickup for you guys. And my long shot, the guys that they're long shots and they're named players, but right now Gunnar Henderson is not having a good year in some aspects. I thought I had his average down here, but he has struck out 56 times already this year, and that's so unlike him. Now, I think he's so talented that he'll turn it around, but his average is 266, which is respectable, but a player like that, you just expect a little more. His WAR is 1.8. But Gunnar he might not make the All-Star team, but by name alone, he might, because you know how it works. Everybody falls in love with a player, but there's a lot of good shortstops in the league. And I mentioned Josh Wilson. Of course, you got Witt Jr. So he may be on the outside looking in, but I think he's probably he'll get hot and get it going. And the other one is a Cub and Cardinal killer. And I was looking at his stats, and it was a little less than I thought. But against us, this guy's all world, and it's Eduardo Suarez from the Arizona Diamondbacks. He kills the Cubs. He kills the Cardinals, but he's only hitting 232. He's got 15 home runs. And Vince, I bet he hit half of them against the Cubs and the Cardinals.
He did.
He did. He killed us. He's got a ton of RBIs, but he strikes out a lot, 10 walks. 53 strikeouts, and like I said, he's only hitting 232. But that guy right there, I think he may be their representative. I don't know. That's a good team, and that guy, if they just look at the Cub and Cardinal ones, he'll make the All-Star team. But that's a guy nobody really notices outside of Chicago, Arizona, Chicago, and St. Louis. He's a guy that has an outside shot at making the play All-Star game. So that's mine, Vince. I just kind of was like, spread a little light on a lesser known players that a lot of people don't know. Now, us nerds, we know them and we keep track of all these guys the best we can. But anyway, it's going to be fun. I'm excited just to see how the votes come in.
Yeah. I'm pumped for the rest of the season.
It's been great. It has been so much fun. We've got so much is going on.
If we fall apart, I will be crying by September. You will come on here. This will be therapy session.
We'll have tissue for you, and we'll have that White Sox guy, comfort you. At least you're not in the White Sox territory.
Well, JJ, I do have the 88 tops, which I'm not
Woo!
forgetting. What do you
Two
got?
Hall of Famers. I've got the Heritage set. It's the 2024 Heritage that looks like the 1975 cards. I'm in love with this set right here. So I got the 224. Why don't you open yours first? I like looking at the
By
All
the
Star,
way,
the great.
I don't think I told you this. I don't bet much, but I put some serious money down on a bet and I won. So,
Congratulations. Yeah.
this weekend they had the Wienermobile race. There were 10
Yeah.
Wienermobiles. I made two bets. The first bet I put on the Wienermobile, and the Wienermobile got first place. So I won that bet straight out.
Which Wienermobile? Which one? How could you tell the difference
Don't get
of
messed up
that
in
Wienermobile?
semantics. Okay. The second, I did a parlay. I got Wienermobile in the first, Wienermobile finishing second, Wienermobile finishing third. I won the parlay. I'm telling you,
Woohoo!
when they have these Wienermobile races, it's the best betting. I I don't know. I've cracked the Da Vinci Code.
You
So
got the code, man.
I will also say two Hall of Famers. Okay, I'm
All right. I feel
feeling,
good.
and here's that archaic gum. There you
Oh
go.
yeah.
That's
Don't
it.
don't cut your roof of your mouth.
Yeah. Uh, Spring Fever baseball win a trip to Fort to the 1989 spring training camp for the team of
Woo!
your choice. Awesome.
A time machine.
I will make sure I send that in.
Yes.
Uh, Former Brave, former Expo, the man who I think didn't invent the cutter, but kind of revolutionized what people thought they could do with it. David Palmer. Um,
Oh,
David Palmer, um, he had an injury to his hand, so he couldn't grip the baseball like he used to. So he kind of gripped it on the side like a football, and it would get that cut. So he never called it a cutter, but I did see him interviewed on the way he pitches and how he's got that natural cut because of the way he holds the baseball now. Now everybody throws a cutter, so pretty cool.
yes.
This guy not only was a great pirate, a great angel, but he was also a great singer, Johnny Ray.
Johnny Ray. Yeah. Smooth.
Oh, this is one of the funniest men in baseball, Mike Witt.
That's Bobby Wood's dad.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, no. Bobby Witt's dad was not Mike Witt, was it?
Was it Mike Witt? I
Uh,
don't know. Well, I
his
don't
dad
know.
was Bobby Witt. He's Bobby Witt Jr.
All right. Well, sometimes I don't know what Wienermobile's going to run. I don't know. Bobby Witt Jr.'s dad is Bobby Witt. Man, things are not going good for me. Keep me away from sharp objects tonight.
And that's when we realized JJ has a drug problem. Uh, Former Yankee, former Indian, former Cub, current prisoner incarcerated for unspeakable things. Mel Hall, one of the most
Uh,
reviled beings. Oh, I like this guy. Former Padre, former White Sox, former Met. Very good shortstop, Bill Allman.
I know a lot about him.
I think this guy should be a Hall of Famer. I've said that on here before. Yankee left-hander also played for the Dodgers and the White Sox, Tommy John.
John, long career.
Oh, rookie card before the roids took place. Look how skinny this guy was, Mr. Mark McGuire.
Yeah.
Uh,
49 home runs his rookie year.
yeah,
49. Yeah.
Paul was a little juice that year. Everybody hit
Yeah.
home run. Yeah. Uh, Cleveland Indian outfielder, former All-Star, Corey Snyder.
Oh, yeah. He was very good.
Um, Former Mariner, catcher Scott Bradley.
I remember him.
Former Cub, Drew Hall. Not much there. Uh, Former White Sox, Steve Lyons.
Oh, he's the guy that slid into first or something and took his pants down and dusted himself off and didn't realize he took his unbuttoned his pants and took him down in the middle of the game.
Yeah,
Is he an announcer now? Does he do some announcing, Steve
I think
Lyons?
he
I thought he
did.
did.
I think he
Yeah.
did. I don't know if he's doing that anymore. I think he's just going around exposing himself. I don't know.
If
Uh,
you got it, flaunt it.
oh, let's see. The pride of Jefferson City, Missouri, former Blue Jay, former Cardinal, current farmer, Tom Hinkie.
We tried to get him to come back one more year, but he was done.
This pitcher pitched for the Yankees, pitched for the White Sox. 1 year, won 22 games for the White Sox. Richard Dodson.
Oh yeah, he had some good years.
He was 22-7 in '83 when they made the playoffs. And he and Lamar Hoyt were a great 1-2 punch for that team. Former Mariner, Mike Trujillo. Don't remember him. And, we already talked about this guy. Here he is as a youngster at the age of 47, Julio Franco.
Leo Franco. Yeah. No Hall of Famers.
No Hall of Famers. But anytime you get a Julio Franco, and for those of you who don't know, he played Major League Baseball until I think he was 48 as a position player. And then he played another 5 or 6 years in the Mexican League. And he was still cut. I mean,
Oh,
this
he
guy
was.
was
Oh,
a
yeah.
was a specimen. So uh always fun to get a Julio Franco. So
Well, Vince, this is a rookie card here. A Cub. You mentioned him tonight. And you'll have to help me with the pronunciation.
Shota Imanaga.
Eminaga right there. Very good player. Loved you guys. I mean, that Chicago has a love affair with that guy. He's so got a lot of personality and everything when he plays, and he's very good. All right. This is series 3. So it's the guys that came up at the end of the year are guys that were traded. So are guys that weren't in the original set. So this is also a rookie card. Cam Eden from the Blue Jays, which I have never heard of this guy, Vince.
I
Right there.
haven't either.
Yeah. So a lot of these guys just came up at the end of the year when they expand the rosters. Adam Duvall from the Braves. I do know that name.
Oh yeah.
There's his card right there. Love that 75 look right there. Let's see. We've got TJ Hopkins from the Giants. That's a good card right there. That's a good looking young man. He's got the glasses on the hat. I like that. Right there. Look at him there. I don't know him at all.
Looks cool.
He's a cool dude. I never was cool, but I know cool when I see it, but I'm not cool. So yeah, I never was blessed with the cool looks or just being cool or nothing. Ronel Polanco from the Astros. I'll tell you what, there he is. Polanco. Wasn't that a song by Slim Whitman? Polanco, da 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 da. No, I got stop.
Never heard that.
All right. Oh, I know my Slim Whitman, let me tell you. And he should have a statue outside the Hall of Fame, let me tell you. All right, the Twins. And this guy I absolutely love, third baseman, Royce Lewis, but he's always injured. I love that guy. He should be a big superstar.
When he plays, he hits.
Man, outstanding. Just can't stay healthy. The Twins, again, Ryan, he's a catcher. Ryan Jeffers, right there, the catcher.
Yeah.
Right there. I'm always been partial to catchers. And to end it all is an Astro catcher, Yanier Diaz, and with his catching gear on. I love the catchers, man. They don't get enough respect. That's a tough position. I think in baseball, of course, pitching is the quarterback, but that catcher, man, collisions, balls going off your toes and your knees and your hand, off your face mask. That's a tough position. So, Vince, that's my set right there's my cards right there.
There are 3 positions in sports I would not play. I would not be a hockey goalie. I would not be a center in football, and I would not be a catcher. Because those are just 3 jobs where you're saying, going to get beat up every day. Going to get aches and pains. I don't like aches and pains. I don't know about
No,
you. You must. You are a catcher, but geez, man.
Oh,
Not fun to
yeah.
me. So
Can't stop them all. You got to stop them all. And nobody gives you credit until somebody steals a base, then they're on you, or the ball gets past you. Even if the pitcher threw a bad pitch, that catcher should have stopped it. So,
so is
man,
this like episode 132, was it?
I think three. I wrote it down somewhere. I think 133 bits. We're getting up there.
So we did 131 episodes before we forgot to do baseball cards. We forgot to do baseball cards, and now we're going to start another. This
Streak.
we'll go to 140 game,
Oh,
140.
yeah.
Yeah,
That,
before we
that's
do.
right.
Well, JJ, do you have a busy week ahead of you?
Let's see here. I don't know. It's always kind of a mystery. Seems like it's the day after holiday. It seems like this is Monday. Doesn't seem like this is Tuesday. So the weekend will be here before you know it. And Brody's working. So I don't know. The Cardinals are out of town. Oh, Sunday. Revis Barracks has a card show, and I know Bernard Gilkey is there. And off the top of my head, that's the only one I can remember that's going to be there. I'm going up to get some supplies and just look around. You never know what you're going to find. So I'll be up there Sunday. But other than that, I think I'm just at home, you know, trying a new recipe, maybe, being enamored by my wife who brings me love offerings and things like that.
Oh, yay. My wife brings me the remote every now and then because I lose it. I would call that a love offering. All right. Well, JJ, you have a great weekend. We will see
You
you next week. And thank you, everybody, for joining us.